Yes, what factors are contributing to declining numbers of travelers and decreased spending during this year's Eid holiday? We are already connected online with economist Teuku Riefky. Hello, Mas Teuku. Thank you so much for joining us. So, as we listened before, the data that I said before by the Transport Ministry that say its survey show a 24% drop in Eid travelers compared to last year. So, can you explain to us what happened, the situation today?
Okay, I think the emerging pattern here is not just been observed in the current Ramadan season, but
Right.
this is the trend that has been emerging since end of last year. So if we see that in the holiday period at the Christmas and end of year period last year, we have already seen the decline in the tourism activity and the people mobility to have holiday and vacation. So that signals declining purchasing power that has been happening for quite some time now.
Right.
And I think the current trajectory that we are seeing, the decline also in the travelers going to back to their home region, suggests that this trend hasn't been reversed so far. And I think this is the issue that the government should address really soon, because this signals a prolonged and general declining of purchasing power of all category of the population.
All right, so the signal prolongs from the last year, as you mentioned before, and as we know, the data say that maybe some people may change their decisions for the current situation, like let's say affecting people's travel decisions, like inflation and fuel costs. What do you say about this?
Well, I think it's not so much on the price or
Mm-hmm.
cost of doing the traveling or the cost of living these days, because the inflation has been going down so far. But I think the main issue here is from the revenue or the income of the people. As you've seen in the data, that the informal sector has been increasing and people purchasing power has been declining.
Right.
So people are worried about the uncertainty of their ability to fulfill their basic needs in the upcoming period in the next few months. So this kind of tertiary spending, doing the homecoming activity and doing spending during Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr period, also affected by their current financial condition. So with this kind of uncertainty, I think it shifts people to save more rather than consume,
Right.
because they don't know how long their saving would last. And I think this has been happening for quite some times, that people are start eating up their saving
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to meet their basic needs. And this is the kind of event that they should spend, but apparently they are not doing it this year.
So, did you think that the behavior also changing in the public, which is, let's say, some people homecoming trips by road, they're spending more in the fuels and they like buy some souvenirs, and they change to another transportation in the shorter period. How do you see the trend that upcoming homecoming this year?
I think there is a parallel to this trend,
Right.
because if we see the data from the end of year holiday season into 2024, people are traveling at a shorter distance.
Mm-hmm.
So some data has suggested that previously people who travels to Singapore or Bali, now they just travel to the next city. For example, if you're living in Jakarta, you just
Just go to
travel to Bandung
Bandung.
or Bogor.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so that means that you are unable to afford your usual trip or vacation, and this is the same pattern that we are seeing in the current Ramadan and homecoming period. That
Right.
people are who usually travel with airplane, now they opt for bus or train, or people who use bus or train previously, now they opt for the route kind of trip. So that means that they are trying their best to save up some money for future needs. And this also confirms further that people are quite struggling to fulfill their usual activity in the previous years.
All right, volatility is happening right now. So people purchasing power is also declining by last year and this first quarter for the 2025. And let's say that people may using their money to saving compared to spending in these holiday trips. Did you think that this decline on the household power spending up by the people is concerning broader economic concern?
Yes, I mean, if we are looking at the GDP data, more than 50% of our economic growth came from consumption, private consumption,
Right.
household consumption. And the growth of this particular section in the GDP component has been declining for quite some time. So that's quite worrying because if we want to grow 5%, that we have to push forward for bigger consumption, especially the middle class, because they are the big spender and they are the fast spender.
Right.
Without purchasing power by the middle class and the upper class, that means that we are barely able to afford the 5% growth as before.
It's very interesting, Tengku. Let's say we talk about some sectors that very hard rely on these homecoming trips, such as transportation, tourism, and retail. So, did you think that this will shift have lasting economic effects in just or temporary?
I think there are a series of events that negatively affect some sectors.
All
For
right.
example, transportation, hotel, restaurant, and this is one of those events that significantly impact this sector negatively. Previously, we had the budget efficiency by the government, and
All
that
right.
also affects these sectors. So I think we haven't seen any kind of push on this tourism-related sector, and I think if there is nothing to be done to this sector, it might likely to uh, to to cause a long-lasting effect on this sector, and it's not impossible that we might see some increase in unemployment from these sectors in the next few months.
Right. It's very interesting you mentioned about the efficiency of factors that governments are doing right now. So, did you think that if talk about the region, as we know that homecoming is related to the region economy. So, did you think that some regions, it depends to the aid travel adapt to keep their local economies thriving?
Well, I think when we're talking about the local or regional economy, we
Yeah.
have to see what causes growth in those areas. For example, in some areas in Central Java or East Java, or even in Kalimantan and Sulawesi,
Right.
they have their own local economic activity. But it also helps as a booster every year that people from big city come to their local city, smaller
Right.
city, and it might provide adequate boost for them to grow further. But without these, they might be stuck in the current low level of growth.
All right.
So what I'm trying to address here is that when you have a general a uniform declining in purchasing power, it might not only affect big city, but it might also
Like very, very is one. Yeah.
it might also eradicate the source of enough push that could have a big multiplier in the region
Right.
or smaller cities in Indonesia.
All right. Looking ahead, do you expect it travel to rebound next year, or it is a part of the long-term trend?
Well, I think until the government solve the core issues here, there is the decline in purchasing power that stems from the lack of job creation in the
Right.
formal sector, the lack of job creation that creates high value added. I think this would last a very long time. And this could be so fast reverse if only the government try to address this problem. So I think it really depends on how the government would resolve the issue of purchasing power and job creation in the next in the future in the next few periods.
All right. What do you say? What strategy can businesses or individuals use to navigate these economic challenges? Thank you.
Yeah, I think during these uncertain times, I think they already do what's best for them. That they save up during this uncertain time, but of course they also need to create some push to the government that the current condition is not going well, especially for the working and the middle class,
Right.
and that they should voice their concerns and opinion that there is a lack of formal job creation. And I think putting enough pressure to the policymaker will help the cause of reversing this trend.
So job creation needed to be focused by the government. Also, the rebound is expected to be happen next year by the Eid al-Fitr. Thank you so much, economist Teuku Riefky, for joining us today to talk about this kind of situation. We hope that this situation is getting better and the economics is boosting and rebounds, whatever it is. Thank you so much, Teuku Riefky, for your time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It's my pleasure too. So that was our conversation on dwindling, aid travelers, and cash flow concern for today's business talk. In the meantime, don't forget to follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram, X, and YouTube at CToday News, and we're also available online at ctodaynews.com.